In the early 20th century, Finland was struggling with its perception of itself as a nation. The autonomous state enjoyed relative freedom ever since it had been incorporated into the Kingdom of Russia, but as the 19th century drew to a close, many decrees would be enacted which greatly suppressed Finnish autonomy and culture. In practice, however, the Russification of Finland would do the opposite of what it set out to achieve, and the national identity only got stronger. In 1905, in what would be a precursor to the Russian Revolution, the Russian Empire would be plunged into chaos, and civil unrest would be caused by the divide between the Serbs who occupied most of the land and the upper class. The revolution ended in failure, however, as the only significant change made to the gubernatorial system was the introduction of the State Duma. But this revolution would eventually plant the seeds for a far larger and more complicated revolution a decade later, sprouted on because of a variety of different factors that I don't want to get into. By the end of it, Russia had become the USSR, and many of its autonomous republics had become independent. Finland was one of the first autonomous states in Russia to declare its nationhood. Its recent independence was met with joy across the nation, and a golden age of arts would emerge. Folk music would prove a great way of national expression. Just like other folk music, it had existed for centuries and just now started to be written down for the first time. This great archival would also result in works that had melodies of traditional tunes, but had original lyrics drafted by whoever decided to write them down. In 1928, Aino Kitanen would do that exact thing, using the melody of a traditional folk tune. Strangely enough, this tune would resemble a Russian one, as its region of origin had a much larger Russian presence than the rest of the nation at that time. The tune's name was Ievan Polkka, or Eva's Polka. The song's lyrics talk about a woman named Eva who dances polka at night with the singer of the song. It became one of the many famous polka songs in the nation, and it would be the subject of many cover songs. But none would reach quite the level of one done by Lloyd Tuma in 1995. You see, the cover they did for their 1995 LP would eventually get very popular on the ever-growing internet. Users on the Russian social networking site LiveJournal would use the song on an animation loop of the character Orihime Inoue spinning a leek, taken from episode 2 of the Bleach anime. The animation would quickly spread across LiveJournal forums, becoming somewhat of an inside joke in the community. It was referred to by the name Lloyd Tuma Girl, after the group who covered the song. Unlike many country-specific memes, this one was non-specific enough to spread worldwide, similarly to Caramel Dancin', which was also a Nordic pop song paired with funny visuals. While Caramel Dancin' eventually exploded into a very convoluted zenith of internet culture, Lloyd Tuma Girl was always slightly overshadowed by it. Despite this, it was still an integral part of that era. It would eventually be known by the name Leekspin, which would be acquired thanks to a website of the same name. The name is also a pretty good indicator of the time of its arrival, as it's a reference to a shock website which many straight up don't know about nowadays. The song's renewed popularity thanks to the meme would catch the band members off guard. To quote an article by The World, "I first found out there was something going on when I looked at the statistics on my own webpage, and then I realized that something weird is happening because there's so huge traffic there, and most of the traffic came from Russia, and then I started to track down what is happening, and then I found this video. Well, I have no idea what this video is about and what this girl is about," said Timo Vonnen, a member of the group. The simplicity of the site allowed for various parodies to pop up, often just changing the template to something else. Of course, the meme's international appeal would also eventually reach Japan. Japan would do what it does to many memes, and it got distorted and changed in all sorts of insane ways. But yet one reinterpretation would stand out above all. 2007 would see the release of a cover done by the one and only Hatsune Miku. Her program was released a few months prior in the same year, so this was actually one of the first Vocaloid hits, and it is generally attributed to popularizing Miku worldwide. A really funny anecdote about this is the character featured on the single cover. This is actually a separate character called Hatsune Miku. She is often shown with this funny expression and of course the iconic leaks. Anyways, as the years went on, Leekspin would stay in the minds of internet dwellers all over, popping up occasionally as a reminder of days gone by. This is basically a joke for someone who spends all of their time staring at a computer, made by people who spend all of their time staring at a computer. It's possible to read deeper meanings into it, but it sort of defeats the purpose because in the end, it's just as hypnotic clip of animation. It would remain that way until suddenly it would gain traction once again in mid-October 2020, in the midst of the pandemic. A clip of blind Turkish street musician Bilal Gürgen with a cat bobbing its head next to him would go viral. In this video, Gürgen can be heard playing the song we've become all too familiar with at this point. This was right around the time Caramel Dancin' had a cultural resurgence as well, but unlike that other fellow anime GIF Nordic song combo, its history is far more simple. The low-key nature of its endurance is truly something to behold, even during these times where 2000s nostalgia reigns supreme. Its strange history also makes it one of the oddest viral videos of all time in hindsight, a nearly century-old polka tune covered by an a cappella group in 1995, which became viral a decade later thanks to it being used as background noise for an animation loop of an anime girl. The world truly works in mysterious ways. I would say more, but that's where it ends sadly. This is one of the weirdest set of circumstances that led to an internet joke maybe ever, but I'm grateful it happened. Thanks for watching. I'm really sorry for not uploading for a while. I've been busy with stuff and life's been pretty tough lately, so I hope this can satisfy your barky needs. Good night. Oh yes, thank you for 1,000 subscribers, by the way. I really appreciate it, thank you. Oh yeah. Oh yes, thank you for 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it, thank you. Good night. Happy New Year's. I am recording this in December 31st.